Oh, these games come thick and fast, don't they? How is everyone doing? Another game to talk about. It's Leeds versus Birmingham. Away. Let's get into it. So yeah, this is the predicted lineup I've gone with for Birmingham. As you can see, I am Lee Buchanan. So Lee Buchanan is behind my head, but I am him apparently. Anyway, you know what stands out for me in this side, and there's some really good individual players in it. Don't get me wrong. Ethan Laird is a great signing. Lee Buchanan's a really good player. I really like the midfield too. Dembele is their star player. Looking at Tyler Roberts over there. Under me is Lee Buchanan. Decent side. John Eustace is a good manager. He's done well at Birmingham. He's really earned his kind of stripes there, and he's really getting a system and a team to play the way he wants, which is also very good, having an identity in this league. John Ruddy as well, a name we all know. Play a 4-2-3-1 typically. Lineup's always difficult because Ethan Laird went off last game against Swansea, the 1-1 draw. He went off injured, as did Tyler Roberts. Also, Lee Buchanan behind me is had to have a knock. However, in the press conference, John Eustace did say they were all right. So I put like an injury thing there. It's not a red one. It's it's recovery, because I'm not sure if they'll play, but they are in recovery. They might play. So if they do, this is how I expect it to be. Apart from maybe Tyler Roberts, we'll get into that in a second. But one thing we need to watch out for a lot is those two guys beneath me, Siriki Dembele and Bielik. Very good players. Dembele, a winger, very good direct player. He will cut inside. He will shoot. He will 1v1 the defender. He'll do everything to take the defender on. Good movement. A good winger at this level, and one we really need to look out for. Christian Bielik will dominate a ball. He can control the midfield if you really let him. Ivan Sunjic as well, very good player. Kesh Anderson, energy. We know Scott Hogan's very quick on his day. Probably doesn't have it enough. Probably inconsistent, but he has traits to be a very good striker. There is weaknesses, and we'll get into that later in the video. This is just the lineup. Let me know what you guys think about that. We'll go on to the next step. This is their squad. Players that are not playing. Now, Mark Roberts, their centre-back, is injured, so he will not be playing. But one of the things that stands out for me is a lot of young players. Very thin squad. You see Gary Gardner down there, centre midfielder, probably their main experience. The guys in green, George Hall is also a doubt. We know George Hall, we'll link with him. The guys in green are the ones who could really affect the game for me. Bakuna, watched him quite a bit in the Championship. Very good player. On his day, probably unplayable at this level, to be honest. Fairly inconsistent. That is his worry. That's why he's not playing. And that central midfield partnership, as Sunjic and I forget his name. What's it called? Let's say Bielik. I speak. Are good. They're a threat. So it's hard for him to get in that side and break that partnership up. Mayoshi as well. Japanese winger, can play anywhere across the front three. Very good player. Very technical. Might start over Tyler Roberts. Put him in green. I think there's a way he starts this game. If so, that's another difficult player to mark there. We have to be on that. Lukas Jukovic, we know about him. He's been here for a while. Big lad up top. We'll play that if they have to. In a game, they need to bring him on and get a bit of solidity up there. They will bring him on. They will change their style a little bit. Play off him. But yeah, thin squad. A lot that can be exposed. Their 11, this starting 11 is actually very decent. And it's going to be a tough test. Let's get into all this stuff now. Let's move my head up here a bit. There we go. So, dangers. What do they have? We already spoke about them. And for me, I've identified these two lads here. There's a lot of dangers in this side. We'll start off with Siriki Dembele. He is their Sinister, if you like. He is their go-to guy. He is their guy who will create things at main for them. Good shot. We goal against Swansea. He's got a very good goal. Hit it, strike it, finesse it, pass the goalkeeper. Nothing could do about it. Inverted again. Deal with those inverted wingers. There's maybe, for me, we'll get into that in a sec, but this has to be a Sam Byram start. No matter what side he's on, I think he has to start, personally. I think he helps the shape a lot better, especially with inverted wingers. Great goal versus Swansea. He's their go-to man. Very good player for them. You look at his heat map there. You see his heat map. He picks the ball up in these areas. Mainly Bielik will feed him from these deeper areas, give him the ball. 1v1 situations, he's going to look to drive inside, as you can see. A lot of his movement is inside. He will happily receive the ball deeper. He will receive it higher up. He's a dangerous threat. We're going to have to be very careful of him. Very disciplined. Christian Bielik, I said, has the ability to dominate a game. He's a big lad in central midfielder, but he's very technical, very not very quick, but can move well with the ball as well. One that can really dominate an area. Against Cardiff, we're a bit standoffish in midfield. I didn't like the space we'd give Joros and the other midfielders. Didn't like it. There's an argument, especially the goal where Ayling was out of position. The build up to that was all on the midfield positional play. Many times when they started attacks, it came from the midfielders having too much space. In the second half, they had none, and you could see how dominant we were. So that's important in this game. We have to rely on that. Ampadu and Archie, whoever's in that midfield, has to get Suchik and Bielik marked. And not allow that midfield, because they will dominate. They will just feed the wingers or Keshi Anderson, and they will cause trouble when they're in behind. We have to, as you can see up there, look. Accurate passes, 30, 35, 86%, 50 touches, key passes 1. We have to be really careful of these two players. There's other good players, but these are the two I identified. There's a little thing here. This is their goal against Swansea. You can't really see from my head. I'll move it here. So behind me it says the press. The press is their threat. So this is a different thing as well. They're at home. From what has been said, they will press. Completely different to Cardiff. They are going to look to press. Completely different test. This is their goal. You start up here. Look, the goalkeeper has the ball. They're in the red. Looks to play it out. High press. High press. Ball goes in here. They're ready for it. Wins the ball. As you can see, wins the ball there. From here, the goalkeeper wins the ball. Tuck inside. Dembele strikes. Goes into the top corner. John Eustace, their manager, actually said, in reaction to the game, and I want to talk about this bit at the bottom here, we were up against a very good footballing team, so we had to press them. But that makes me think that they are going to come to us to press. Scott Hogan is quick, Keshi Anderson a lot of energy, Dembele energy, whoever's on the other side as well. They're going to press. They're going to rely on the two midfielders to be part of that block. So when we beat the press, they'll be there at the second stance. So we have to deal with this. Have to deal with the press, or we will be in big trouble. Big trouble. As you can see, Sunyuk here, what I got from the highlights of the game, he likes to create a lot of shot-creating actions at the edge of the box. These are, whether that's late runs or whether they build progression, he will always be in the edge of the box, looking for any flick-on, looking for any cutback, especially with Dembele, who we saw is a direct winger. He will take the byline, he will look to cut it cross. They will cross the ball a lot, as you can see. 16 crosses in a game is a lot. Long balls as well. That's direct to the wing if they have to. They will do that. Again, Saidu is not necessarily looking to dominate possession. But what they will do is they will look to win the ball in high places or in progressive places. Whether that's from the back, Leeds played from the back, they will look to win the ball there. In midfield, they will look to win that battle. Or whether they win it out on the width with their Ethan Laird on the right and Buchanan on the left. Good defenders as well. Good side. But one thing I think we have to use for our advantage is the lack of possession. We have to dominate the game. We can't go there and be standoffish like we were in the first half. We have to dominate the game, but we have to be progressive with the ball, or we're in trouble. Look at the ball possession here. They had less ball possession versus Swansea. Look, not a lot of expected goals either. That's probably a big miss for them right now, having that clinical striker. I also think defensively, you can look at the momentum graph here. Not a lot of momentum, but created big moments, especially near the end and the start of the game. So this is what we've got to watch out for, the start of the game. Also dominating these midfield areas and getting goals when we're on top, when we have the momentum. We have to. Some of the stats there, dribbles, they do have a lot of dribbles, 26 dribbles, very direct. They will, duels won, they will attempt to win duels. They're all about the moments in the game, the areas of the pitch in which they can exploit. So we have to be careful. They're a very good side if they want to be. Very good individuals, well coached. Doesn't go to mean we can't beat them. We just have to be careful of these individual things. Like I said, how we win. I'll move my face back up here. I'm all over the shop today. Just found that this will be on Joe's show tonight. We'll be going deeper into this with Andrea and Lloyd, I think it's coming on. So, yeah, if you want to watch this later, we'll be on Joe's show going deeper into this and the opposition review. So get on that. I think it's around 9, 10 o'clock. So be there for that. Anyway, how we win. This is my little plan. Of course, they've got their strengths, but you have to concentrate on yours as well. And this fight right here is absolutely vital. It's a 4-2-3-1. It'll be practically man for man. These two guys, on and off the ball, are very important because these two are very solid. Bielik and Sunic are very solid players. Don't get me wrong. Very solid. And these guys have to match that in every way, shape, and form. We have to match them off the ball. We cannot allow space for any of these two guys. We cannot allow them to dominate the game. We cannot allow them time. Off the ball, we have to outmaneuver them. Ampadu has to, if he has to drop deep between the back two, if Rodon's not playing, he has to do that. He has to create errors. The movement is vital in this game. That battle is very important. I can't stress that enough. How we beat them again? We beat the press and be progressive. We have to beat that press. Look, if they don't press, then they fooled us all because they pressed against Swansea. They're at home, first game of the season. I imagine they're going to press. John Eustace is big on shape. Whether he'll switch it up, potentially, I doubt it. They have good players to press. If they don't, they don't. That's on me. But beat the press and be progressive. We weren't progressive enough against Cardiff in the first half. The second half was a good example of being progressive. Every time we got the ball, we looked to go forward quickly. If we couldn't, we'd go back. Whereas in the first half, it was opposite. We'd look to go back instead of going forward. Control the game and suffocate them. Don't give them any time on the ball because they've got quality players. We've got to be in there, even if it's little fouls. Be in their faces. Give them nothing. Press them. Give them a bit of that. You know what I mean? Be expressive in the final third. I'm looking for those players. Some of those out, which is a big blow. I'm looking for those players. I'm looking for Sinistera. I'm looking for Dan James. I'm looking for Vader if he starts. Jorginho Rutter if he's fit. Be expressive because I genuinely think their back two can be got at. I think their centre partnership, solid centre-back partner for the Championship, but I think our players can get at them. I think they can cause them problems. Genuinely do. We've got the movement in this game is huge. And make the most of set pieces. From what I've seen, defending set pieces is not necessarily their strongest suit. They have 2 or 3 big players that can do that, but the rest are not very tall. We're all right at that. We've scored 2 goals in 2 games from them. That's an area we're going to have to exploit. Getting in those areas, get corners, create chances from corners. We need that. I put these 2 down. I put these 2 below me. Why? I think get a team that's going to press us high. If they do, and we play out from the back, which we did very well, actually. We did a lot against Shrewsbury. Worked once or twice, but with better personnel, it will work better. Joe Rodon is vital in that ball playing centre half. If they are pressing, they're going man for man, as we saw with the press. Joe Rodon is a bigger asset to have. So he can just drive out with the ball. If they're pressing him, he'll find a pass. There'll be a spare man. If not, we'll find that ball behind the midfield. Joe Rodon, for me, has to play. I know he's only been here 2 days. I know that. And he probably won't. I kind of want him to. He's a ball-playing centre-back. And we need it in a team that presses high, aggressive. Sam Byram has to start now, I'll be honest with you. Don't know what side. I'd say left. We don't have a left-sided centre-back. Left back. What he does is creates balance. For me, creates loads of balance. We can go either way. We have both sides can be progressive with Sam Byram, which allows a lot more space for the front 3 in the midfield. It's a big worry if he doesn't. I'll be honest. That's what I've got. Those are the keys to win. We have to win our individual battles. The wing is going to be interesting. Dembele is a good player. Whoever's at right back has to do best to them. Look, he comes inside. He's right-footed. He'll cut inside. Show him out. Put him where he don't feel comfortable. We've got to be disciplined defensively. We have to be. But on the ball, we've got to just be ourselves. Our best selves. All we got to do is be our best selves, nullify their threats, and be expressive. Move the ball quickly, be expressive. And we can win this. They're a good side, Birmingham. But I still believe we can win. I believe we can win every game. Of course I do. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'll be on Joe's show tonight, going more breakdown into this with Andre and Lloyd and Joe, obviously. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Looking forward to the game. Quite excited. Nervous, always am, but it's what it is. You know what I mean? Let's get into this game. I can't wait. Let's go. See you later, guys.